Welcome to the Living Superhuman Fitness Podcast, where we take you inside our gym, CrossFit Palm Beach, each week. It's here that we are creating new superhumans every day, transforming people's lives, helping them reach a level of health they never knew possible. We strive to answer your most burning questions on fitness, health, nutrition, training, motivation, mindset, lifestyle, and more. If you have a question, please email us at info@crossfitpalmbeach.com. You can also learn more on our blog, livingsuperhuman.com. And if you have a moment, we'd love a review from you on iTunes. All right, it's time. Let's stop being average and start living superhuman. All right, guys, welcome to the Living Superhuman Fitness Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about how to maximize your 2017 Open. So this is the second episode we're doing related to this year's Open. The last one was one of our first episodes. It was episode number 4. We talked about how to excel in the CrossFit Open. We talked a lot about what movements typically show up, what movements we think are going to be new this year, what's generally tested in the 5 weeks of the Open. So if you haven't listened to that episode, I would recommend going there as well. Today, we're going to be talking more about the actual 5 weeks, how to approach each workout, whether or not you should retest those workouts, and how to maximize that retest if you're going to be doing it. So we're just going to start off talking about the format of it. The Open's 5 weeks long. It's a workout a week for 5 weeks. The first workout is going to be released Thursday, February 23rd at 8 p.m. And then the additional workouts will be released every Thursday after that at 8 p.m. You have until Monday at 8 p.m. to submit your score. So most people, since we're on East Coast time and we're getting that at 8 p.m. versus the West Coast who gets it at 5 p.m., most people are not going to test it on Thursday night. They're typically going to test it once or twice between Friday and Monday and make sure they get that score submitted by Monday at 8 p.m. So first thing I wanted to kind of go to was getting clear on why you're doing the Open. We're going to have hopefully over 100 people, 100 members sign up this year, and everyone's doing it for different reasons. Some people want to go to the games or go to regionals on a team or as an individual. Other people just want to see what it's all about. They've never done the Open, and then others have done it year after year, and they kind of look at this as their big competition of the year, their big test of the year, and they always like to see how they're going to improve year after year. So let's talk about just some of the whys first and what you guys see and any recommendations you guys have for people starting out.
Yeah, so this is our 5th year running the CrossFit Open at CFPB. With every year it gets more fun. We get more people to do it every year. I think there's a lot of hesitation. You're always going to have maybe 10 to 20 members who are like, why should I do it? Why should I do it? And you're just like, I can't really tell you why, but you'll be thankful that you did it. And I think the only time people regret not doing it is like the next year when it comes up and they're like, man, I wish I had some comparisons from last year. I wish I had some kind of tracking, because that's what CrossFit's all about, is tracking your previous stuff and then getting to compare it later. So, I think just step up and do it, and then you can always check and compare in future years.
Yeah, it's an incredible test. It's comprehensive over all these different movements that we do a lot in CrossFit, and it tests your fitness. It tests a lot of endurance. It tests how fit are you, and not necessarily how much you lift well, we have tested that occasionally, but it's really about just your motor and your engine and how hard have you been working. So for a lot of people, it's just a great test to see what you've done for the last year, the last 365 days. I know for me, this will be my 4th year doing it, so I can go back for a couple of years now and look at different scores. I occasionally go back just to check them out again, just to see what they look like. I use them during my training during the year. I've retested, we did the other day, we just retested a workout, and we all had times to go on, so that's a very concrete and tangible proof to us just how fit have we gotten over the last year. And that's very valuable. I love comparing some of my times to like my first year, because it feels really good to see how far you've come, but then you can also see, okay, well, maybe I have lost something that I had at one point. I need to get back and refine that a little bit more. So usually those scores can help guide your training for the next year as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's, I mean, I don't even know what I was going to say. I lost my train of thought, but no, I love the Open personally. And I see, kind of going off what Tony was saying, I see so many people that kind of fight you to sign up, and it's just, they always thank you when they did sign up, and especially that next year. But what I was going to say is actually, like, the Open, there's this comparison aspect to it. Hopefully there's going to be over 300,000 people signed up worldwide, which is really cool. You can compare yourself to people at other CrossFit gyms that or just anybody from a different country or a different state, which is really cool. We have our in-house competition that we've layered in this year. This is the first thing for us, where we've broken our coaches up into 4 teams, and we're going to have kind of a head-to-head competition. If you sign up for the Open, you're going to be on one of these 4 teams and part of this in-house competition. But all these things are really disguising what the Open really is, which is an ability to see how you're growing year after year, how you're improving year after year. And it's really about you. It's really about seeing your improvement year after year on these different tests. Every year there's always one Open workout that repeats from a previous year. So that's really cool to retest that and see how you do.
And it's a great first step to doing like a competition. Like, a lot of people don't think they want to compete in CrossFit, and then they kind of get that bug. They kind of start with the CrossFit Open. You get that competition bug. You get to feel like the butterflies before the workout, and also like the reward that comes with accomplishing the workout, and you get addicted to it. And this is a great way for people to kind of start in that competition. We have our Friday night bar fights every Friday night, which is like a big event, in front of everyone. People come watch who have done it in the morning, and you don't have to do it in front of everyone. You're welcome to do it in the morning just as you would your regular workout. But if you'd like to do it in front of everyone under the excitement of, the Friday night bar fights, then it's really cool. But either way, you just get that competition atmosphere,
Definitely. Just to clarify on what we're going to be doing with that is Friday we'll have our normal schedule, and then we'll cancel the 5 p.m. class and 6 p.m. class, but at 6 p.m. will be our event, the Friday night bar fights, where if you want to have that atmosphere where there's a lot of energy, there's different heats, it's more of that competition atmosphere, you can come then. Otherwise, you can just come to any of those morning classes or the 4 p.m. class and do it at your normal time. If you want to retest later on in the weekend, you would be on your own. You'd have to kind of coordinate with a friend or coach to judge you on that, because you do need a judge for these Open workouts. But the Friday is a definite time that you can do it in any of the classes or the bar fights event.
And I think that for a lot of our newer clients, or newer to the Open, having that excitement, having that atmosphere at the Friday night bar fights, and I think most CrossFit gyms nowadays do something kind of like that, where they set it up that way. And for most people that are new to CrossFit, they've never been in that situation where like the adrenaline is fully going, and it's hard to get to that point if on your normal time, you come in every day, you have the same people, although those are really good in forming those relationships because they will push you to train over the long term. But having everyone around you in your gym cheering you on, cheering your name, it will give you your best potential score. And then you have 5 of your best scores because you did it that way. It's a true concrete test of where am I at and how good am I? And it's hard to get that out of yourself when you're just coming to your normal class that you come to every week.
For sure. I always have these doubts in my head right around this time and the next couple of weeks where I'm like, am I really better than I was last year? Like, my scores on certain things are comparable. Yeah, I'm PRing here and there, but some things are down from last year. And then sure enough, once you get in that atmosphere with the Open, you see this 15-20% improvement. And then you're like, okay, yeah, I've definitely gotten a lot better than last year. And you just need to be put in that environment. It's cool. We all need that little push every once in a while.
I always say it's my favorite part of the Open is it's like taking a mirror and putting it in front of yourself. And every single year when the Open's over, I'm not just a better athlete, but I'm just like a more structured, complete human being. Like I'm taking notice to things that I didn't take notice to. I'm looking at my recovery. I'm looking at my sleep. I'm looking at what I'm eating and drinking and what am I putting in my body. And every single year that becomes more serious when you push a little bit harder, you train a little bit harder, you spend more time in this lifestyle, and those scores come out again. You're like, oh, I got better in this, but there's one more thing I need to work on, and it's just one more thing you can get rid of. And 4 years later, I feel like just everything about how I train and my concept of fitness and my concept of how fitness applies to my life is so much healthier than it was when I first did it, the first time I did the Open. So I think that you grow a lot as a person through the Open, in my opinion.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. It's a big personal learning experience. I'd say that's probably one of the top reasons to do it, is to learn more about yourself as an athlete.
Yeah.
Cool.
What happens when you get in that situation?
Let's talk about a little bit of the logistics. We had a chance this past weekend to spend time training with the best CrossFitter in the world, Katrin Davidsdottir, and the best coach in the world, Ben Bergeron, and a few other really great athletes and coaches. And we learned how they approach the Open and want to share some of that stuff with you guys so you guys can really get the most out of your scores and yourself and do the best you can. So one of the things that they do is they do the workout twice. So this isn't necessarily for everybody, and that's why I would kind of explore why you're doing the Open. Do you want to just have fun, take some of the stress away? You may just want to do it once. But if you're someone who really wants to get the best score, I would encourage you to do it twice. And even if you don't, it's just kind of a cool learning experience to do a workout and then to do it very shortly thereafter, 2 or 3 days later, and do it with a different approach and see and test that. Because we're almost never doing that in a typical class setting. You might retest something 6 months later, but you're a different athlete then. And this is a chance to try different approaches, maybe going faster, maybe going slower, breaking up your reps versus not breaking up your reps. So you can just do it just for general knowledge. But if you really want to maximize your score, you got to do it twice. Definitely got to do it twice. So what most of them are doing, they're doing a Friday afternoon, Friday night, or Friday morning, whenever their normal training time is, and then they're retesting on Monday at some point, usually the same time on Monday or whatever that peak training time is for them. Saturday and Sunday tend to be lighter days, and this is where you got to feel it out. Everybody's different. Me and Zach were talking before the show. Neither one of us really loves rest days in the true sense where we do absolutely nothing. So for us, Saturday and Sunday might look like 2 active recovery days where we do something lighter. If the Open workout on Friday was snatches and muscle ups, we might do some snatches and muscle ups. We might work on transitions or setup or things like that we want to then implement on Monday. And then the same thing kind of goes for that midweek time. Monday, you're going to be probably your hardest effort because it's a retest. You have some knowledge. You have that added level of focus of knowing this is your final time to do it. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you got to play around with. I suggest Tuesday and Wednesday can look somewhat like normal training days, and then Thursday should definitely be that rest day or active recovery day, depending on who you are. The one thing I would just point out is that on like a Wednesday, you don't want to do anything like 100 GHD sit-ups or 100 lunges. I know every time we do lunges, everyone talks about how sore their butt is the next day. So GHDs is another one. Gets like your abs and hip flexors can be sore for multiple days at a time. So just be careful of volume, and our programming should kind of incorporate that knowledge. So if you're following our program, you should be getting that. But just be aware of that yourself, what things get you sore, and try to avoid those things on like a Tuesday or Wednesday, or especially a Saturday and Sunday, because that weekend is really the key, because we're really focusing all our energy on Monday.
Yeah, I wouldn't, if it's something new, haven't really done a lot, like you've never really worked on strict muscle ups. Don't work on strict muscle ups like in the middle of the Open. I mean, well, I guess you could a little bit, but it's not something you want to take on, or new movements that could potentially fatigue you in a way you've never felt. That's not something that you want to have happen.
Or keep the volume low if you're going to do some skill work,
Yeah.
If you think handstand push-ups are coming, like, oh, they're coming this week, they're coming.
You might want to practice them, but not a lot of them, So it's going to be a lot.
Yeah, so one of the things that they do at CrossFit New England and with the comp train competitors is on Friday, even though they know they're most likely going to retest the workout on Monday, they go as hard as they can. They try to get their absolute best score. They do not hold back in that Friday workout. And sometimes that does end up being their best score. For the most part, as good of athletes they are, when they have more knowledge at their hands, they're going to do better on Monday. But every once in a while, Friday is their best score. So definitely don't hold back on Friday when you do it, just knowing that you are going to be redoing on Monday. You never know if you're going to get sick over the weekend. You never know what's going to happen. So you want to hit it hard on that Friday workout. And then what you can do is take that knowledge and use that towards your Monday workout. So what are some of the things we learned, guys, this weekend? What do you do with that Friday workout, that knowledge that you get?
Well, we were talking about how like the Friday night bar fights can pump you up and get that adrenaline going. It can also throw you off your game and throw you off your pacing and just make you too hot out of the gate, and then you end up kind of dying down. So, you know, you could probably learn a pace structure for that second time around. Maybe look at your rounds over the time and say, you know, my slowest round was this, my fastest round was this. Wow, that's way too far apart. I need to get my, slow down in the beginning and get those rounds closer to each other.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in that situation, if you just can constantly tell yourself to go slower than you think you should, you're probably going to be most of the time in the right place, because you just start off really fast in that environment. And that's something that we learned this weekend, is that pacing is really the key to all of it. And if you can get on the right pace, you can get in a position where you can achieve your best score. But if you come out of the gate like out of a shotgun, it could end poorly for you.
Definitely. So your best score is more than likely going to be a score that your per round pace is within a few seconds of itself. So let's say it's a 10-minute workout. We did this weekend, 10 minutes of 8 clean and jerks and 8 burpees over the bar. And if your first round, you come out and you can do that in under a minute, but then 8, 9, 10 minutes in, your worst round is like a minute 40, a minute 50. Essentially, your worst round is about double what your best round is. So what you want to do is figure out, do some math based on how many rounds you achieved in that Friday score, and then figure out, okay, what would be my ideal pace to match or beat that score. So if you got 6 rounds on Friday, take 10 minutes divided by 6, that's about a minute, minute 20 pace, and try to hit a minute 20 pace when you're doing that the next time around. And then at the end, you should have a little bit left in the tank because you started out a little slower, and then the last 2 or 3 minutes, you can actually go faster and get a better score than you did the previous time. And because you paced it appropriately, you're actually going to feel better in that second time around. It's not going to be easy, but you'll be able to have something reserved in that tank for that last 2 to 3 minutes to push. And that's going to depend on the length of the workout. Some workouts are short, they're 5 minutes. Some workouts are longer, they're 20 minutes. But as a good rule of thumb, you usually have about 10% to 20% of that workout to push at the end, a little bit harder.
Yeah, and pacing's not just reserved for that 20-minute workout. I mean, we were learning it in a 10-minute workout. I mean, it applies to an 8-minute workout. Like, you just have to pace. Like, in these high volume, they're short workouts, 7 minutes, to 10 to 20.
There's always a right pace to go for every single workout. There's always a pace. And once you figure it out, and we were just saying, once you figure out, let's say it's a minute 30 pace, you're a 90-second pace per round, and that's ideally where you want to be, then practice a round or 2 times, because we found that even though we said, okay, I know for me it was like a 115 or 116 or something like that was my pace. And I was like, all right, that's what I'm going to do. Cool. Got into it. Test run 1 round, and I did it in 57 seconds. And it was just like, and I felt like I was moving slow as molasses, and I just couldn't even get close to that time. So now looking back, I should have maybe even done another practice round and really felt it out, and then rested, and then gone into it. And that's how I could have maximized my best score.
And the key point to that is not to say, oh, I went as slow as I thought I could, and I did it in 57 seconds, so I'm just going to go now in 57 seconds. You have to either keep doing rounds or figure out on the spot, okay, how can I go slower and maintain that pace? Because if you just say, oh, 57 seconds felt slow, let me just do that, you're going to crash just like you did the first time. You're going to crash and burn in those middle minutes, and you won't end up doing as well as you did. So you had to kind of figure out a way in that, how could I go slower, and then just keep that for the 10 minutes.
And I think as I was trying to figure it out on the fly, I kind of messed myself up a little bit, because I actually had this like one outlier round. All of them were really close, and one was out, and all it was I just started thinking about, all right, well, let me change up what I was doing to go even slower or to make this feel better. I don't know even what I was thinking, which leads me to another point, which what he made is if you're going at the right pace, you can always think. And that's, once you're not able to stay with it mentally, you probably need to slow down a little bit because the wheels are going to fall off shortly.
Really quick, yeah. If you're not getting really close to the finish line at that point, you need that awareness of where you are, what you're doing.
Yep.
Definitely. So yeah, let's get kind of even more detailed on that. So in this case, Zach didn't have a chance to really practice, but if you practice around and you know your goal pace is 90 seconds and you did it in 57 seconds, then you need to do another mock round. And hopefully this is where that Saturday, Sunday comes in. You can use mock rounds as active recovery because it's just a small percentage of the actual workload that you're going to be putting in. So do some mock rounds during your active recovery days. So when you show up on Monday, you know exactly what the game plan is. You still might do a mock round to kind of get your heart rate up and feel it, but you know exactly what it is. And now it's just like, okay, I know what it feels like. And the key is to do this without looking at the clock. So Zach wasn't doing 3 clean and jerks, oh, I'm at the 10-second mark. 4 more clean and jerks, I'm at the 25-second mark. It's to do an entire round just based 100% on feel and then check the clock afterwards. So if you can do that 100% on feel, then you can then take the workout on Monday in your retest and do it without ever having to waste that time and energy of looking at the clock, because that's going to mentally throw you off if you're looking at the clock during your workouts more than like once or twice throughout. You can check it here and there, but you shouldn't be checking it after every round.
Yeah, you might not have the opportunity to be like right in front of the clock when you're doing it. I mean, you probably can get in a spot where you'd want to be for the open, but maybe not. Maybe you're doing it Friday night bar fights and we got to, how many times does that happen? It's like, hey, we got to move this bar over here.
Yep.
We got to do it. We got all these people. Let's move it. And you got to move it and make it happen. And you don't want something like that to affect what your score is going to be. So you just always got to be trying to rely on how you feel instead of being able to watch a clock the whole time.
Definitely. So let's talk about another big mistake people make, which is leaderboarding, getting caught up in the scoreboard of the open.
I've done it.
I'll do it.
Oh, man. So our recommendation is don't even look.
Don't get the app.
Don't get the app. Delete your phone bill. Get rid of your service for the next 5 weeks.
Just get rid of your phone for
because you're going to want to refresh that thing like crazy. But couple things is that people don't submit their scores on the leaderboard till like Monday at 7:30 p.m. So basically any data that you're looking at up until that point pretty much means nothing, because there's 100,000, 200,000 scores that haven't even been submitted. I'm an affiliate owner, I'm like the team representative, so I approve the scores. I know a lot of times I'm not even approving scores till Tuesday morning. So the leaderboard really isn't up to date till like Tuesday afternoon at 8 p.m. And even if you're riding it the whole weekend, you're going to have so many highs and lows of where you're at. But really, you shouldn't be looking at it at all until the end of the 5 weeks.
Yeah, I know 2 years, not a year ago, 2 opens ago, I did my workout, I submitted it on Friday night, and I did not look at the leaderboard again. And that was my best open. Last year, I was glued to it. I don't know what changed. I'm not sure. I think it was just a little bit more of what I had going on in my head and in my process of being proud of what was going on for what I had done. But I had this thing. I had to keep checking it last year, and it was just it mentally will grind you, and especially when you've got your workout done on Friday, you may not do it again until Monday if you are going to redo it. That's 2 days of just mental. Like you don't want to be there, and you don't want to be in that spot.
Mental workout.
It's probably the easiest way to take the fun out of the open.
Yes, that is a fast track to not wanting to do the open again.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Coach Bergeron made a point which stuck with me at the camp and will stick with me through the open, and that's what information that you gather from the scoreboard is going to change your effort in your workout. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's so true. Like, I shouldn't change my effort depending on what I see. I shouldn't say, oh, I have to get to this level. I should just give the best that I have, and let that be what I'm satisfied with, and like you just said, you didn't check the scoreboard, you just gave the best you had, and it ended up being your best one. So I think that's really the advice to follow, is don't look at the leaderboard just because, either you're looking at who's ahead of you and saying, crap, they're so much stronger, or you're looking at who's under you and you're saying, yeah, I beat them. But it really just comes down to your effort in the end.
Yeah, he gave a couple good examples on the biggest stage is the CrossFit Games with his athletes, Cole Sager and Katrin. You know, he was saying Cole in last year's games, they did the 7K trail run and then they did the max deadlift. Neither one are strong events for him. And he almost PR'd his deadlift, and he was so proud of almost PR'ing his deadlift. And no one told him he was in last place after those 2 events at the games. And he never checked the leaderboard. All he did was give his best effort. And he ended up getting top 10 at the games by the end of the weekend because he just kept giving his best effort. Whereas most athletes, even games athletes, would have just crumbled when they saw, oh my God, I've worked so hard this year and I'm in last place, and that would have mentally screwed them for the rest of the week. There's no way they would have gotten a top 10 finish in the games. Whereas Cole was he was actually happy about it. He was proud of that achievement because it had nothing to do with where he stood on leaderboard. It had everything to do with comparing against his best effort.
I think that's what CrossFit is all about, whether it's the open or whether we're training every day during the year. It's about becoming the best you every single day, being a little bit better Tony the next day, a little bit better Andrew the next day than you were the day before. And if you lose sight of that when you get in the open, you get so into the numbers, they can suck all the fun out of this. And it's just such a fun thing. CrossFit's nothing like it, but you can let that open kind of change things for you sometimes.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely want to keep it fun, for sure. If it's not, let us know.
Yeah, we'll do something else.
All right. Well, I think that's it. We'll wrap it up. Good luck in the Open this year.
Good luck, guys.
Good luck.